this is Faith at Faith and Books. How are you doing? This is my second attempt. I just kept misstating things. In my first video, I kept giving the wrong names for things. So I thought I'd try all over again. Okay, so I'm going to attach at the end of this video, I'm going to attach some footage or photos from our trip, our weekend trip for our anniversary to Williamsburg, Virginia. So we drove down on Friday, and I don't like driving on 95, so we went the back way, so it took longer. And we just sort of hung out at the resort on Friday night, and then we spent all day Saturday sightseeing. So we went to the Jamestown settlement in the morning, which is different from historic Jamestown if you ever go. Jamestown settlement is the living history. So it's a museum about Jamestown, the founding of Jamestown. And you go out and you see, like, they've reconstructed the fort, and you can see reproductions of the ships and that sort of thing. And also Native American, the Native American huts. So is that my kettle? My kettle's starting to boil. Hold on. Okay, where was I? Yeah, Jamestown settlement. So that was really interesting in that they talk about the three cultures coming together. It was the American Indian culture, which is what the museum called them, not Native Americans. And then the English, of course, and then the slaves that came over that were from Angola. I did not realize I thought they were from further up in Africa, like the West African part. But no, they were Angolan or Nungola, I think, Ngolo or something like that. And then it got changed to Angola. But yeah, so that was really interesting. I thought that was quite interesting. So that was fun. We did that in the morning, and we ate lunch there, and then we went to Williamsburg, and we walked and walked and walked. We saw the governor's mansion. We saw George Wythe's house. George Wythe was Thomas Jefferson's tutor, and I think he signed the Declaration of Independence, and he was quite wealthy. So there's these two beautiful homes in Williamsburg that have been reconstructed, like really, really precisely reconstructed. And I was just taking pictures of, like, the wallpaper, the beds, because I just love I love colonial or federal interior design. I mean, you can see where I'm coming from behind me, because to me, the Victorian age got too fussy, too much, too crowded, too much going on, whereas I really like the simplicity of the colonial or federal style, where, you know, they just didn't have as much stuff, but what they had was really beautiful. And so I'll attach some of those there. And then we just walked around a lot, and we people watched a lot too. And we wound up eating dinner at the Williamsburg Inn, which is this really nice inn. It's just old world kind of inn. It was built in 1938, I think, and it's very high end, just cozy, charming, and it's had a lot of famous people stay there, like Queen Elizabeth and Prince Charles and Eisenhower and George and Barbara Bush, and other people stayed there too. So it's just a really charming place. We ate dinner there, and then the next day, we just got up and we went to church. We went to St. Olaf's, which is a little town outside of Williamsburg in Norge, where there were Swedish settlers. Like, I like going to church at places when I'm traveling, because you learn about these little communities and like local history. So that was interesting. And then we just drove home. So it was a very nice weekend. So let me tell you about the books that I read. So I finished Footsteps at the Lock by Ronald Knox. So how many books have I read by Ronald Knox so far? I read The Viaduct Murder, which is kind of a standalone. And then I read The Three Taps. Is this the second book, or did I read it? Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. And then Footsteps at the Lock, and then, and now I'm reading another one. Anyway, these three that I've just read the, oh my gosh, my brain is a sieve. They all feature this Miles Breedon is his name, or Bredon, Bredon, and his wife Angela. And it's quite delightful. There's a lot of fun banter going on between them. And I like the fact that he's, he doesn't really see himself as a, he disparages himself. He's a detective. Miles is a detective for an insurance company called the Indescribable Insurance Company. And so he works for them, and his wife helps him, and then he keeps bumping into this guy that he knew from the war, Leyland, who's a police detective. And so I really like how collaborative it is. And also, I like that the setting itself is almost a character in the mystery. Like this one, Footsteps Up the Lock, was set at a lock along the Thames River, like outside of Oxford. And there's these two characters are canoeing on a little canoeing trip, like, in 3 Men in a Boat. And one of them goes missing. And so they're trying to solve the mystery there. And but it seems like that's with all the books that I've read so far, is that the actual place where things take place is almost a character in itself. And then there's always kind of a twist ending, like something you didn't expect. And the cute thing about Miles is that he's really good, but he's not usually like ahead of the curve, the way Poirot is or something. But what happens is he plays Patience, which is a British elaborate solitaire game. And he gets really into that. And while he's playing that, his mind will something will click, and he'll have this little light bulb moment where he'll realize that something in the mystery that didn't make sense to him, suddenly it occurs to him that way, when he's not concentrating on the mystery, but he's absorbed in this game of patience. So anyway, it was a really delightful mystery. I'm really enjoying Ronald Knox's writing style and the way he creates the story. And now I'm on to the next one, which is called The Body in the Silo. I just started that one, so I'm not very, very into it yet. Anyway, so I finished that. Then the book I wanted to talk about the most, which I've really been thought-provoking a lot, is The Quiet American by Greene. So it's a kind of a typical Graham Greene story, and it's full of, if you know him at all, he was a 20th century writer. I think he wrote from like starting in the late 20s, early 30s into the 70s maybe. And it's all Cold War kind of stuff. It's all international intrigue. And this was the group read for the Dr. November reading event hosted by Mark at Book Time with Elvis and others. And so I really wanted to read, because I've read several of Graham Greene's books before, and I really want to read more of them. But he's very dark and he's very gritty. He's as gritty as I can get when it comes to sex and stuff, because he's just right there at the cusp of where it would, if he went a little further, I would be like, nah, this is too much for me to take. But for some reason, I'm okay with the way he does it. I think he does it very deftly, and it's not there gratuitously, or it's there to show the moral depravity of the character. So it's told in first person. You're seeing everything through the eyes of this British reporter named Thomas Fowler. He's in Indochina, so this is before the Americans have really gotten involved, maybe when they're just starting to get involved. And so it's really between the French colonialists and the communists. And this guy, Thomas Fowler, has kind of fled England because he's kind of burned his bridges, and he's left a failed marriage where it was his fault. And he's sort of and he's aware of it. He's very aware of all his faults. That doesn't stop him from obsessing on what he wants. And so he's the thing about Graham Greene is the moral ambiguity of the situation, the intrigue, the war or the political clashing that's going on. It mirrors or it reflects the moral tensions that are going on within the main character. And so it's a very atmospheric, brooding kind of, and suspenseful kind of atmosphere. And the main character is always, he's an alcoholic, or in this one, he's smoking opium, and he's a middle-aged man who's afraid of growing old, and he's obsessed with this young Vietnamese girl that I think when he first met her, she was 18. So it's kind of disgusting in that way. And he's just really a pathetic character, but you sympathize with him because he's right about some stuff, and you're seeing everything from his point of view. So you just have this natural sympathy with him, even as he's doing repugnant things. You're realizing, wow, that wasn't a good choice. And his self-talk, you're there in his head with his self-talk. And as the novel goes along, I felt more and more distanced from him. Like, is he a reliable narrator? Is he really, it's very morally ambiguous. Now, I was thinking one thing about Graham Greene is he's known as a Catholic author because he weaves Catholic ideas throughout the book. And there's another 20th century author, Flannery O'Connor, American author, who was also very Catholic. And they both kind of wrote for the same purpose in a way, which was to just show, and this is after, World War, in Graham's case, or Greene, I keep calling him Graham, his last name's Greene. It's Greene's case, he's writing in the late 30s, 40s. But the modern world in the 20th century had seen so much evil, and both authors, I think, felt this deeply, and they saw a need for a redeemer, for redemption. And they're both attracted to Catholicism because that makes it make sense. And so, but Flannery O'Connor, I've never really enjoyed her books. Now, I haven't read her novels, just her short stories, but I just feel they're very grotesque. I think she's Southern Gothic, and there's a grotesqueness about it, and I never feel any sympathy for any of the characters. And I always feel like I'm being clubbed over the head with her message. So I know that people love her and really appreciate her. I wish I could do that too, but I just don't. But why, I was asking myself, why is it okay when Graham Greene does it? Because, like I said, he's right at the edge of what I want to read, that I'm comfortable reading in terms of violence and sex. But I think he just does it with such nuance, because even though he's talking about depraved things and there are grotesque elements in it, it's not as grotesque. To me, it's more nuanced and it's more thought-provoking. And everybody's a mixed bag, right? We're all good and evil. Even the worst person can do something good, and even the best person can do something evil. And so I feel like I like the way he uses this atmosphere of international intrigue to convey those ideas. And he's, like in the book, Thomas Fowler is an atheist, and I think Greene struggled with his faith as well, but he was grappling, he didn't give up. He kept grappling. I think that's the best thing about it, is it's always this grapple to make sense. And the book I thought it was really, really good. He's such a good writer. He really is just a phenomenal writer. And I just love the questions he raises. And I think he has the finesse and the deftness to do it in a really compelling, way. And so I really enjoyed reading it, even though it was a dark book. It's a dark book. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So, okay. So those are the two books that I finished. And I'm now going to focus on Crime and Punishment and reading Ronald Knox. And I also think that I'm not going to read All Quiet on the Western Front. And I'm so sorry, Tony at Lockster Reads, because it's a wonderful channel. And every day he's talking about what he's reading about World War I for his Remembrance Reads reading event. I think maybe next November I'll try to do that, participate in that fully, like I'll put that on my calendar. But I'm reading too many dark books, because The Quiet American was quite dark and Crime and Punishment is quite dark, and I don't think I can take another dark book, especially because I'm not concentrating so well right now because my son is getting married in less than 2 weeks. And Thanksgiving's coming up as well, and there's just a bunch of stuff going on. So the end of November, can you hear that helicopter? There's a helicopter going over. It's going to be quite busy, and I think I'm going to be really distracted. So I don't want to add another heavy book onto what I'm already doing. So I feel sorry about that. I really want to read All Quiet on the Western Front. I've been wanting to reread it for ages. I don't think it's going to happen realistically right now. So the other thing I wanted to tell you before I add on a couple of minutes of the Williamsburg trip is that I have decided that I'm going to take a month-long hiatus from not just BookTube, but YouTube. I'm going to live for a month as if YouTube doesn't exist. And I'm going to do this by taking the app off my phone. And I'm doing this for several reasons. One, I am addicted to my phone. I just scroll and I'm constantly picking up my phone, and it's very distracting. And I watch a lot of good content. I really do. I love BookTube, and I watch stuff about religion, about my faith. I watch stuff about history. I watch stuff about interior design, gardening. I watch a lot of gardening stuff. So it's not that I'm not watching great stuff, and it's all good, material that I love to learn about. It's just too much. I'm just addicted to my phone, and I keep trying to moderate it, and I'll be good for a couple of days, and then I'm right back to my old habits. So I think that I'm just going to take a break, just take a full break, take the app off my phone, and just, like I said, live as if YouTube doesn't exist. So I won't be making videos, and I won't be watching videos. And I think I'm going to start this right now in my head. I'm thinking I'm going to start it November 25th, and it'll go November 25th to December 25th. Now, I know I'll miss a lot of really good Christmas content and stuff like that, and I'm sad about that, but I just think it's for my own good. I think it's affecting my ability to sleep because I don't have the discipline to not scroll at night. And also, I think it's just too much stimuli. Even if it's all really good stuff, it's too much stuff coming into my head. I really think it affects my ability to focus, and I know it does. And I think it's affecting my ability to sleep. I've had insomnia for years. I used to just be able to power through it. I'm getting too old. I cannot power through it anymore, and it's really affecting me. And I think one of the things might be that during the day, I get overloaded with all this stimuli, and then at night, I just don't settle. Now, I fall asleep okay because I get exhausted and just nod off. But then I can't stay asleep. That's the problem. So I have just, like last night, I woke up at 1. I didn't go back to sleep till about 2:30. Then I got up at about 5:40 this morning. So it's just not enough sleep, and it's really affecting my ability to function and to think straight and just everything, all the things. So this is an experiment to see if I can go a month, see if it does something for me, if it helps my sleep. And then I am planning on coming back, but maybe I'll have, the clarity to see how I'm going to manage things. So I'm going to make one more video between now and then, though, to say goodbye, sort of wrap up November. So maybe the 23rd or the 24th. My son's getting married the 22nd. So I'm betting the 23rd I'm going to be too exhausted. But maybe on the 24th or maybe the 25th itself. Maybe I'll make a video. No, I don't want to do that because I want to be able to see comments. So I'll definitely try for the 24th. Anyway, that's my plan. So I will miss you very much and have a wonderful Advent and Christmas and all that good stuff. I'm still going to be reading. I'm still going to be doing Detection Club stuff. I'm still buddy reading Crime and Punishment with my sister. So I'm doing that. I'm just going to pull way back from YouTube. So, all right, okay, I'm going to attach a little bit, a couple of minutes, and then that'll be it for this video. All right, take care and happy. This is our room in the resort we're staying in, and that is the James River. So we have a balcony right on the river. And here I am on the balcony. You can see there's the marina, I guess over there. I see some boats. And there's the James River. And there's the sun in the west.